Welcome to Two Cups of Blood.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning, I'd like to say.
A morning podcast, a rare thing.
Yeah, I think my voice probably still has a bit of the sleep in it because I haven't spoken very much. I always like that. Like the first words of the day are like super dramatic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a total different register. Like my voice hasn't awoken yet. Yours, I can't hear the difference.
Well, it's more that my throat feels a little weird, but yeah, maybe a little bit. Like I could do like a whiskey commercial or something. Poured over stones, pulled from the creek. It is the finest way to drink. So yeah, 2 Cups of Blood. We're doing it again. Fantastic. And This is, we're gonna say it's like the sun just rose 15 minutes ago, and
I mean, it's actually St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So
to the snakes here. Do a little toast here.
To the snakes.
To the snakes. Here we go.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
Let the ice melt a little bit, and it mellows it even a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. I really could drink this for breakfast.
So what did you whip up for us today?
This morning's beverage is a Champagne Mule. Champagne Mule, sort of altered to taste. I had read something about it being 1:1 vodka, lime juice, and ginger beer, but the balance just wasn't right. It was really, really lime juice forward. So I went ahead and I advocated for some extra ginger, and that really mellowed it out. And then topped with a splash of champagne. If it were not St. Patrick's Day, I probably would have been able to get mint at the grocery store, but I guess everyone was like, it's green, we better put it in the shopping basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we don't have any mint in there, but we just call for a tiny bit.
Yeah, not even muddled, just like a garnish, but I thought that might influence our enjoyment of it if, I don't know.
So the final was about 1 ounce of vodka?
Yeah, 1 ounce vodka, 1 ounce lime, 3 ounce ginger, a splash of champagne. Probably it was about a half ounce, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And some ice. Mm-hmm. But it's nice.
In a copper cup.
In a copper cup.
Did you have these on hand?
Oh, yeah.
You got Mule supplies?
Yeah, I do. And the whole, origin of the Moscow Mule, which, what is it? A true Moscow Mule is ginger, alcoholic ginger, right?
Honestly, I'm not familiar.
I've
heard of it, but I don't know.
The only detail that I actually remember is that the whole thing is bullshit, and that they made up this thing about tradition and it being served in a copper cup, and really it was just these copper cups were a promotional item that they could get cheap, and they went with it, and it really, there is no deep history of the Moscow Mule. It's just sort of a promotional drink that a bar came up with, and it took off as if it was historically significant. But they've been drinking champagne mules in copper cups for hundreds of years in Ireland. I'm sure.
So there's the tie-in.
There we go. We didn't have the mint, so I throw in a bam.
Well, this is quite delightful. It might not be a complex drink or a highbrow kind of a cocktail, but it's very good.
Yeah, I was looking up. Crazy, I did research. I was looking up cocktail recipes for breakfast, and shockingly, almost judgmentally, nobody was willing to market their cocktail recipes as being for breakfast. However, under the brunch category, just a deluge of super, super sweet stuff. Like if you think about it, the only famous not sweet one is sort of the Bloody Mary. And I don't know if that's really all that great. I never wake up wanting a spicy tomato cocktail.
It'll get you going.
I guess, but just regular vodka will do that. You don't need that.
Well, that's kind of true too, yeah.
But, hey, And that, just a quick interesting aside, I always found it interesting. I've always heard that alcohol is a depressive, and it, will actually like lower your energy levels rather than raise it. But recent studies have shown that it is both not, I'm going to call it an accelerant, but that's not the right term for it, but maybe it could be. So it is both an accelerant and a depressive, where at the start it like gets you ramped up. But after you get a certain level of alcohol consumption, that's when it starts like working against you to like slow down function and respiration and all that stuff.
Interesting.
I'm going to give an amateur pro tip now, not to ramble too much. It's early.
A pro-am tip?
Yeah, pro-am. So my pro-am tip of the morning is when you have drank too much, what you should focus on is your breathing. Because continuing lots of focused breath, the breath is the core of your metabolizing engine. So as long as you're breathing deeply and consistently, you are making progress to feeling better. So that's like something that's always gotten me through times when I've drank too much. You just like focus on the breath and know that every breath is your intention of feeling better, slowly winning the battle.
Nice.
This won't help alcohol poisoning. That's you just go to the hospital, and that is the move. But
yeah,
if you just drank too much and you're like on the edge of nauseous and you want to pull it back, breath. That's the key.
Cool.
Yeah.
Helpful tip. Yeah, I found you can will yourself out of that edge of nausea. Like sometimes you're gonna have to puke, but if you're just heading up there and you're like, no, if you're like that cat, no,
Long Johnson.
Yeah. Sometimes if you just don't panic, take it easy, like, no, it's going to be all right. Don't have to do this. It's going to be all right.
You try not to focus on the actual nausea. You just listen to the music or have a conversation with someone. And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I willingly ignored it, but I was just like, no, I'm all right. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get away with it.
And you're not still drinking while you're in this stage. Okay. No. So I was like, it's kind of like riding the brake and the gas at the same time. If you're just got to maintain, have a little sip, just not too much at a time, just maintain.
No.
Okay.
No, this is after the consumption is done, for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that it usually only sets in for me. It hasn't in a while, thank goodness, knock on wood. But
a couple years or so?
Yeah. When
I think I remember the last time.
Maybe. Yeah, I think you might.
Certain
yeah.
spot downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it what the heck was I? Oh yeah, I noticed it really only hits me when I have that, there's a moment of reflection or introspection where everything's fun and games, and all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I feel really sick. You just turn the corner and get jumped by it.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Because when I don't know, if you're out having a good time and you're really enjoying some music or whatever, it's easy to not focus on it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you would feel. Maybe it's all what do they call that? Anecdotal observation.
Okay.
Just that when everything's done is after I've drank. It just also happens to be after I've drank so much that I start feeling sick.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not that I really advocate that you have to drink until you feel sick. Don't get me wrong.
No. These are rare occasions.
Yeah, I think you want to have fun. So, that's definitely not the fun part you should be shooting for. So, like, just, like, min-max that shit. You just got to figure out how much to drink so it's almost 100% good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You find that limit, and you have to learn to respect it, and don't get sucked into, oh, hey, let's have one more shot.
And at the end, have the discipline to drink some water.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Like
you got to be drinking water all the way through, in my opinion.
Okay. I usually do, like, a good, like, 2 pints conclusion of the evening.
Well, that certainly helps. I try to just go right along.
Oh, that's smart.
And keep them in somewhat equal measure.
Do people get dehydrated when they sleep?
I think definitely, because with respiration, you lose moisture, and you're laying there not drinking anything for 8 hours, so you're definitely a little drier in the morning. Yeah. So if you weigh yourself in the morning, you'll typically weigh, after you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you've lost a couple pounds. Yeah. That's true. True.
Yeah, for sure.
So, have you gotten any more toys, any more gear? It seems like not that you have a problem, but it seems like you have a pretty good influx of interesting equipment, whether it's interesting microphones or compressors or, what have you.
There's a thing that happens, and it's there's an acronym for it on the internet. There's a great forum for pro audio recordist kind of people called gearsluts.com.
Oh, okay.
Sluts with a Z.
Oh, extreme.
Yeah. So they refer to it as GAS. I believe it stands for Gear Acquisition Syndrome.
Okay.
And, you're always looking for something that'll better the quality of what you're doing, or give you a certain flavor or color to your audio that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to be satisfied with what you can do.
Yeah.
And you always think there's some magical thing out there that's going to take you to that next level.
I imagine reaching done or reaching perfect is impossible.
Yeah. It's tough, but and certainly when you're very, I'll say amateur, when you're, starting out and you don't have confidence in what you can do, and you have a mic that's, pretty decent, but you're not sure if it's the best you can do with it. I don't know. I don't know how to put it exactly, but you're always looking for, and they're always coming out with new shit. So you're like, there's a new condenser microphone. It's only $300 and it's supposed to sound amazing. And you can't really go to a music store and use it to hear what it sounds like.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What are you supposed to do? So maybe you buy it, you try it out. You're like, oh, this thing's a piece of shit. Am I going to keep it anyway? Am I going to sell it? And you end up with a ton of crap.
Now, is it like cars where there's the instant unboxing depreciation of audio gear? Like, if you bought a microphone and you opened it, would it be worth 80% resale?
Well, usually not really. If it's a hot item, if it's something new that there's interest in, there's some weird shit that nobody cares about, of course, with everything. But most things you can get away with reselling it for close to the new price. At least that's what a lot of people try. Okay. So, maybe $50 less or something, and someone will probably buy it. As long as you have the box and the thing isn't torn to crap.
Right.
And, if you have the packaging, it helps a lot.
Do you ever get secondhand stuff, or do you prefer primary market?
You never know what people have done to shit.
That's true.
So I get a little paranoid, and I tend to try to buy new when I can. Occasionally, I'll buy something secondhand, like with a dynamic microphone, like a Shure SM57, something very basic. There's some things that are just literally indestructible. You can get those secondhand, save a few dollars. You're not missing anything. Like, you can't fuck up a dynamic mic, even if it has dents in it and looks all scratched up. Like, it's going to work like a champ. Condenser microphones are more sensitive. and they have more delicate components. So those I get a little more wigged out about. So those I tend to buy new. So like these currently we're using Warm Audio WA-14s to record with, and those I had to buy new, and I think they're pretty good they're doing what I wanted.
They're the best sounding microphones I've ever heard, but I'm not the audio studio dude. Yeah, really.
So a lot of podcasts use a dynamic Shure SM7B.
Okay.
Or the RE20. I think that's a Electro Voice, EV RE20. Those are like your typical broadcast microphones that a lot of radio stations use.
Okay.
So that's kind of what podcasters tend to use. I just don't have any of those. And I bought these for a different purpose, for studio recording.
I would guess that these are far better than...
they're different. I don't know if they're better. It's hard to say. They have different qualities.
Yeah.
So everything has its strength, and even if you get something for, SM57 for $100 is the most amazing microphone for certain things. You just need them. And something like this is going to sound like shit on a guitar amp. Maybe not like shit, but it won't sound as good as a 57. A 57 is what you're used to hearing.
Now, is there a 58?
There is a SM58. That's the one with the bigger...
I was like, I'm pretty sure I actually bought a Workhorse SM58 because, it's one of those things where it sounds okay. If you're using it for vocals, people aren't going to, like, roll their eyes that you're using some sort of Fisher-Price mic. But they're durable as hell. The only time I've ever seen a venue, like, get angry at a performer for mistreating their microphone was seeing at a place that used to be here, Valentine's. I saw the management force the lead singer of Mindless Self-Indulgence to pay for the mic because he stuck it in his ass crack.
Well,
he was like,
that's a little disrespectful.
He just said, I have no problem paying for this mic, but I do get to keep it because I keep what I paid for. And they were like, that's fair. Yeah. And so like he got to keep his ass mic.
Yeah, I think that's what capitalism is all about.
That's right.
That's a good transaction right there.
There you go. They shook hands. Everyone walked away more or less happy. I guess that they were still maybe a little irritated that he wiped his ass with their mic. That was a bit much. But hey,
Yeah.
Living on the edge.
Yeah, but that's another example. Like you can't destroy it's very rare that you hear about an SM58, which is pretty much the vocal mic that almost everyone you've ever seen anywhere is singing into.
Yeah.
I mean, bigger arena and stadium shows, maybe not, because there's other handheld mics that people like to use, but in every club, in every city, everywhere, SM58s is pretty much the standard. You can't break those fucking things. Like, you can throw them at the wall, you can stomp on them, you can run them. You could probably run them over with a car and it would still work. I mean, they are really, really solid.
Yeah, and really very affordable.
Yeah, they're like $100 at new. Yeah,
I think I was, when I decided that it was worth having one, I wouldn't have gone for it if it was a real high dollar item. But I got the mic in a little leather carrying case with an adapter or whatever, and it was, I'm gonna say, like $80 as part of a sale.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good equipment, so it doesn't always have to be, I guess, a $800 microphone with the perfect parametric graph. But I think when you have an ear that is educated enough to know that, it's got to be really murdered to not get that 800. Like when like that there's like this chasm where frequencies are not where they should be. And every time you hear something on that mic, you don't hear what's there, you hear what's missing.
Yeah, It's weird too because the sound pro audio producer engineer types sometimes want is not a flat neutral place. They want a certain frequency curve that emphasizes certain frequencies, de-emphasizes others.
Yeah.
And of course, anything like that will respond differently to different people.
True.
So if you really want to be this amazing engineer, you're going to have a collection of very expensive microphones that are going to complement different people differently. And you have to match the mic with the artist.
Crazy.
It gets very...
That's a level of nuance that
Yeah.
would really be frustrating to me, I think. It would
Yeah.
be like, I guess, really very gratifying if you had mastered that and you could totally do it, but frustrating.
Yeah, it's tough. And when you just don't have something that works great with someone, like anything will work, but there could be certain problems, like maybe the sibilants, the S's,
Yeah.
are just annoyingly like way too much with a certain microphone, but everything else sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So you look for something darker that doesn't emphasize those frequencies so much, and then maybe something else about that isn't so great. So you're compromising on what you have that'll work as well as can be, and then you fix those other problems that come through in the mix later on if you can. So there's levels to everything. There's these levels and nuances that really can drive you crazy if you drive down that rabbit hole.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
But to get back to your question...
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, yeah, your new gear. Right. Wow. I love these tangents. Go on.
I have been investing in the studio, and I've been doing some recording with some other people while I sort of recover from doing my record and get back into wanting to make new music.
Yeah.
Which is coming. I'm starting to get
nice.
those feelings. But, took some tax return money, got a couple things. I got some compressors, some hardware compressors for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Cheapest ones money can buy, but it's something. I'm dipping my toe in there and seeing if they can really do something for me.
Now, do you prefer, this is maybe a dumb question, but do you prefer hardware compressors over software compressors?
I don't know yet. There's a lot you can do with software. Of course, the software products are very cheaper compared to hardware, of course, which is their main selling feature. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, when you have software, you can use them over and over in a project as much as you want, in any way you want. Whereas with hardware, you only have the one or the two of them, and you have to patch them in while you're recording, and then you could patch them in while you're mixing, but you only have the two. So you only put them on one thing at a time, or you put them on the whole mix, or you figure out a way to use them the best you can. So they're less flexible than software. And I don't know yet. I think there is a difference there can be a difference in the actual sound that comes out of them versus what they've emulated in the software. Because most of the software isn't building something from scratch. They're usually emulating hardware or modeling it. So I bought clones of a very popular model, and there are software emulations of it, and the hardware does sound better than the software. There's a little something better about it, but I don't know if it's
that much better to...
Yeah, I don't know if it actually makes a difference yet. I haven't really... They're very new. I haven't used them much yet, so...
Well...
I'm going to play with them and see if they're worth it.
Well, give us an update if there's remarkable results where you're like, you know what, I can definitively say that the analog resolution that you get from the hardware compressors has an undeniable role. If you can say that, that seems valuable, I think.
Yeah, I really haven't determined that yet. But once you get a couple of pieces of outboard gear like that really need to be, you can use them one way or you can use them other ways. You really need like a patch bay to be able to route things flexibly, which is what patch bays do. So I had to get a couple patch bays.
Nice.
Then I needed a bigger rack.
Yeah.
And then I need all the cabling to connect everything. So I'm in the middle of making a bunch of cables, and I got a new rack together with some patch bays, got all my preamps in there, and
That's exciting.
so yeah, the studio is evolving, and didn't spend a ton of money, but a little investment, and taking a little time to get everything together.
You know, I think I really respect the sort of frugal-ish approach to that, because if you have a ton of money, you just go whole hog, but it doesn't doing it that route doesn't really require any understanding. So I think the way you're doing it piece by piece, and it's going to give you real understanding of how that gear fits into what you want, and what its limitations are, what its strengths are, that sort of thing. So I think you're doing it. Seems like you're doing it right. I don't know shit, but it seems like you're doing it right.
I'm just going piece by piece as I get a little money here or there that I can throw at it.
That's cool.
And it's not all about throwing money at things. This is how I'm evolving. It's not what you have to do. You get a couple mics, you get a decent interface. That might be all you need, with your computer or whatever. I'm going a little into that analog world. I'm trying to see if there are real benefits there. A lot of people love their analog gear and they can't do without it, and they shit on the software that isn't quite as good. But man, software emulations are really getting there. So I'm really trying to walk that line and see where the value is and see where it's worth putting any more money into. I feel like I have a lot of great software tools. I'm just seeing where the hardware is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So my impression is that the real spot where analog excels over the software modeling is that analog there is no sampling rate. It's really there's no guessing what is between one point when a sample is taken and the next point where the sample is taken. And because you have a continuous analog signal, what you do can actually more realistically and more smoothly approximate, or not even approximate, represent what is between those two samples. And, you just, as you move things around, adjusting different parameters, you just have a granularity you're not going to find in software. But that's the other thing is that there's some brilliant mathematicians who have teamed up with artists to make incredible software modeling stuff. I mean,
yeah. It's
impressive.
The only stuff I have a lot of experience with is a company called Waves. And Waves has started making emulations of Abbey Road Studios pieces of gear. So they have a couple reverb plugins, and the ADT, which is an automatic double tracker, which was invented for John Lennon. It's a vari-speed tape machine that makes it sound like you double-tracked something, but you didn't.
Oh.
And it's not exactly a chorus effect, and it's not exactly... It's its own thing. It doesn't sound like anything else.
Right.
So Waves has made software emulations of all that stuff.
That's awesome.
And they sound really good. And I have them, and I like to use them, and they're, to duplicate that hardware, I don't even know what you'd have. You can't buy that stuff.
You'd have to build it. You'd have to do the research and build it yourself, pretty much. And you're spend talking, a fortune.
Yeah, you're thousands of dollars. So some things there's no way to get around, and it does sound really good, but reverb stuff, I don't know. The Mule is kicking in, by the way.
Yeah, hey, that's good. That's what mules are supposed to do.
So the software is really coming along, and I don't know. I'm still exploring, trying to make up my mind.
Well, I find it very interesting to see who's winning the race, the software modeling or the actual physical engineers who are making things do new things.
Well, there's not... I'm not educated on this, but I feel like there isn't a lot of innovation in the hardware realm. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you may be right. If I, again, anecdotally, that might be the word of the day, but just from real surface level observation, I feel like the new sounds that we've heard are things like people who abuse auto-tune for artistic effect and things that are like very software. That didn't come from someone circuit bending. Though, I mean, on the other hand, people do some interesting things where they intentionally miswire audio electronics to make new kind of sounds. And that happens too, but I guess maybe the pop music thing is like it really hooks into the new sound and blows it out like it's the greatest thing ever, like auto-tune.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people like Ronan Harris, right? V&V Nation has produced the first couple records using mostly software instruments.
Okay.
Either emulations of analog synths in the digital world or just straight up digital instruments that never had a real world analog. But after starting, I think, with Future Perfect, he was getting into analog hardware, modular synthesis, real instruments.
Okay.
I don't know if I like that in his stuff in particular.
It's tough.
It's fine. The sound, I don't hear a qualitatively better sound in his newer records than like Empires, because I really dig Empires, and I think the sounds on that were pretty innovative, and I don't think you can get those sounds out of analog hardware. So certain people have different preferences and they're hearing different things. But when you put it all together on a record, I can't tell if it makes a difference.
Now, was With Orchestra V&V, or was that Hooverphonic that did With Orchestra?
I think they both did orchestra records.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that when stuff that was traditionally electronically done actually is given to like a full orchestral string section, it sounds pretty cool. It sounds pretty different, but it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't have... I think I listened to the Hooverphonic. I don't think I listened to a lot of the V&V. Even though I do like V&V quite a bit, and just the couple things I listened to, it didn't hook me. It didn't... I don't know. It didn't connect with me.
There's a thing, and I appreciate that people really like cruciatos, and I'm certainly not attacking them, but there's a certain level of commitment that they have to the dramatic that I find excessive. For me, it's like I can't suspend disbelief enough to really enter this full gothic fairy tale that they spin.
Okay.
And it becomes too much.
You mean more with the live performance or on the records?
Definitely. Well, I don't know. I feel like for them, I would say it's definitely much more of an issue live. For Blute Angle, it's like once you've seen them live and understand their commitment to that like world creation, if that's not your bag, like you can't listen to them recorded the same way. It's like, I don't know, I just can't fully commit to the suspension of disbelief and enter their gothic world. I can't. It just doesn't work anymore. Having seen them live, because it was weird for the people who weren't into it. The people who were into it, like there was a full floor of people who were going crazy loving it. Yeah. And then there was me in the balcony with my head down, like just having enough of Blute Angle.
I can see that. I see it on a different level, even with... I feel like a lot of performers on stage feel like they can't... And when I say a lot, I don't necessarily mean at a big pro touring level. I think maybe smaller acts even. Mm-hmm. They feel like they can't just be themselves. They have to really goth it up. They have to go they have to have a look. They have to. There's a lot of style involved.
Yeah.
And you do have to have a certain image to get out there that you want to put forward, but
Sure.
sometimes it can just be it can feel a little disingenuous. It can feel like too much. And
Yeah.
I get that totally.
But that's, maybe it's just that morning me is less cynical than evening me, but I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's not something that I can really interface with as well as other people can.
It's
That's
fine.
all I'm saying. Yeah.
It's a preference thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually heard that what's the dude from? It's not. Oh, what is it? The guy from Cruciados?
I don't know him very well.
Oh, it's not Clyde and it's not Ronan, but it's something kind of like that. Nope. This is another one of those things like someone is going to listen to the podcast later and be like, "You idiot! His name is John."
Do we need to do
a quick fact check?
A Google check here?
It's not Drake. It's not like I feel like it's some kind of like one word name.
Rogue?
Rogue, that's it. I was not that far off with Clyde. So, okay, yeah. So Rogue, like, I think he's a good artist and he makes his audience happy. And so, yeah, don't stop doing what you're doing. Just, what you do doesn't have to be for everybody. Just make it for the people who get it or who get what you're trying to say.
Just do what you're doing. You're an artist.
I wake up super positive.
Good.
I don't know what happens to me during the day that, like, by the evening, I'm like, he's a piece of shit. I can't believe he's still doing this.
It's the blessings of St. Patrick.
I guess that's it. 0% snakes. That's right,
That's
man.
right.
Oh. So on the topic of new gear, I wanted to introduce, if you will, a potentially ongoing segment, which is I found myself at 4:30 a.m. in San Diego looking at eBay, and I saw that they had Native Instruments Tractor S4 MkIIs for like around $60
What?
from China.
Oh.
So
Counterfeit?
well, that's the thing, is I'm not sure. But what I did decide.
Wait. The real ones are not made in China, are they?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either.
So there's a couple possibilities like that I'll go into, but my thought process was I'm going to spend $60 with free shipping. $60 free shipping, and I'm going to see what comes of it. I may end up getting hosed for $60. At the end of this story, I may have nothing. But, I looked and I saw eBay has like a buyer protection program. And if I haven't gotten the piece by the time it's supposed to get there, I can file and they'll theoretically give my money back. I don't know if it comes back in the form of like eBay bucks, but
No. It should be your real refund, I think.
Okay, so like this was sketchy to the point where right after I bought it, I got a text message from PayPal and it's like, somebody is using your account for something sketchy, so we're gonna need you to change your password. And I was like, no, that was me. I bought something from China. Yeah, let's do this.
Wow.
So I could have lost $60, but I feel like this is a valid adventure to bring people along on, and like this is what happens when something is too good to be true.
I will say, I was recording with Scott and Kieran from the band Stoker last night.
Okay.
And Scott was telling me he just bought on eBay from China a quote-unquote Fender Telecaster, a Fender USA Telecaster, which is not a Fender USA Telecaster, from China for about $200, customized with certain options he wanted.
Okay.
And it is totally marked Fender USA, has a real looking serial number on it. is not made by Fender at all. Is a total counterfeit.
Really?
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's not a good practice.
No, definitely not.
But it's cheap as hell, and you
Okay.
get a somewhat decent guitar that you can rip apart and upgrade for not a lot of money. So he's, I think, pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, at the end, I mean, that's the thing is, there will if I get a counterfeit, but that's so weird because getting a counterfeit Tractor S4
Yeah.
is a weird thing.
If it's something you need to rely on, like you have to remember this could be a piece of shit that's going to fall apart. So it has to be a somewhat disposable use case for your,
Sure, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, if it's even a reasonable approximation of a Tractor S4, like it just boggles my mind to think of. So what happens in China is whether or not. So in order for something, I'm all over the place. In order for something to be made in the USA, that is a very bullshit label to put on something. All that really says is that substantial manufacturing for preparation for sale was conducted in the USA. It doesn't mean that really anything was made in the USA. If they ship something from China that's absolutely complete product but does not have firmware applied, and it gets firmware applied in the United States, it was made in the USA, technically, because it was useless until it got the firmware. So that's where it gets gray. So like what you have a lot of time with these counterfeit these copies that sometimes are absolute garbage, sometimes are like nearly indistinguishable, is because the factories that make them overproduce off the books and then gray to dark gray market let them out through other channels. So it could be that in this saga I could get nothing, and I'll go through how it's been day 45, I've just hit the return the claim period, and I've said I never got it. That could be the end of the story, but the story could also end with me receiving goods that are, and I actually think for the $60 I might be willing to reach out to Native Instruments to ask them, is this serial number of stolen product? Just to find out like what I actually bought for the story. So like it could be that it was stuff that was processed in China and then was quote unquote fell off the boat, or just for whatever reason was in the margins of loss that they didn't notice that it was gone. Or we'll see, but I'm excited. $60, Tractor S4 MkII. We'll see.
That's now if that was a real one, and when it was the new thing,
It's like $1,000.
was it that much? 800-ish is what I was thinking.
I think it's 1,000 to 800. I see I see good quality used ones on eBay. Typically are like between high 5s and low 6s right now, which
Okay.
I feel like, and again, I'm being sensitive to like the work that Native Instruments has done with their MkIII line. I feel like MkIII is not necessarily improvements in a lot of ways. They're more like revising things so that they can be produced at a lower cost point, maybe a lower sell point as well, but I don't know. I feel like there's a thing on the Tractor S2 MkIII where the platters spin and have haptic feedback, and I just find that like, oh great, something to break.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have those spinning motors, it would be so much more reliable. So why are you doing that?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay,
It's
We'll
something
see.
cool, I guess.
But it could be, so I guess as time goes by, I'll update next podcast what is going on with the $60 Chinese tractor S4.
Sounds
And
good.
Maybe it'll be a cautionary tale. Probably it'll be a cautionary tale.
That'll be good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in San Diego.
That's right. And I'm going to say San Diego either has zero scene or fantastic scene. And
You didn't find the scene?
well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't find it. Now
It was so awesome, it just eluded you?
I feel like there's a thing about California, which is people love having secrets. Like, if something's cool, it's only cool when not many people know about it. If it's openly publicized and people know about it and it's like accessible and people can go, it's no longer as elite as it used to be and people lose interest. I feel like that could be just New York bigotry against California that's coming in there, but a year ago when I went, granted it was a Thursday night that I went out, but I was like, what can I do on a Thursday night that's gothy? And I went out to a place called, I believe it was Decades, and it was a little weird. I got taken to a strip club, and you go through the back entrance of the strip club, and because Thursday's not particularly busy, the back entrance leads you to a whole separate club within the strip club where they just play 70s, 80s, 90s, and they just have fun with it. Unfortunately, there were 6 people there total, including me and including the DJs. So, I can't say what that is really. It was pretty fun and I hung out for a while. I because I didn't intend to go to an erotic entertainment establishment, I felt awkward walking from that part of the club through the actual functioning strip club to use the restroom.
Ah,
but
yes.
And there was no bar in the back club. You had to go through and order in the functioning club. So that part was a little weird, but what was interesting was that I think that the people who worked there actually liked the night, because there were people who were working, people who were dancing there professionally, who were coming back and just dancing recreationally in the back club and then going back to work when it was their time. So they'd be listening to some crazy 80s shit, both weird 80s shit like Clarence Carter stroking. That was, oh man, you should check it out. Anyhow, so they would be dancing to that in the back room and then go up front and dance to Lil Jon.
Interesting. So
but they were dancing for themselves in the back room.
Yeah,
and that's not it's different, but it was interesting. I didn't do anything particularly gothy in San Diego this time, except now here's another pro-am tip. When I went to San Diego, I wanted to I love novelty more than people should. So I wanted to have a whole different kind of cuisine than I eat every day. So I pretty much, when I was left to my own devices, I tried to eat as much vegan food as I could. Because, I will occasionally get vegan here, but I wanted to see, there's whole development branches that they have done in vegan on the West Coast that are just kind of not here. So the first night I went to a cafe called Gratitude. Now, Gratitude is it's really very I'm going to use the term spiritual vegan. I was tempted to use the word hippy dippy or something, but it's it was definitely posh. When I went in, like, it was kind of, like, off-puttingly posh. Like, it wasn't extensively lavish, but all the small 2-up tables were, like, marble countertop, and everything was made of sustainable product. There was nothing plastic. It was all, like, either a fine wood table or marble countertop or metal countertop, but nothing that felt like laminated chipboard or anything. But I had some really, really good vegan Mexican food. I had, like, enchiladas, and the person I was with had the taco flight where they had a whole bunch of different, like, little mini tacos that were all vegan, and she's lactose intolerant, which is super convenient when you're eating vegan because you see stuff with, like, cream sauces and creme fraiche and, like, sour cream and all this stuff that actually in this one instance will not hurt you because it's made of cashews and oat milk and other weird, like, approximations that end up being a great flavor. So
nice.
that was cool.
Yeah.
And then the second vegan experience, which was fantastic, was we went to Kindred, which is a bar that only serves vegan food, and it was super cute. Like, we went on their tiki night accidentally. I didn't intend to, but we ended up spending, like, hundreds of dollars there. Like, we were, like, trying all these different cocktails. We got all these, like, I got a artichoke base. Like, it wasn't artichoke. It was, like, more like the root ball of the artichoke that was somehow made into po' boys.
Wow.
So I got an artichoke base po' boy, and I don't know what the person I was with got. I can't remember what she got, but it was good. And we ended up buying their limited edition tiki mugs with the four-eyed wolf with serpent horns and stuff. They had just, like, all this shit. It was just cool.
Nice.
So I feel like if they have that much dedication to the aesthetic, there's gotta actually be the scene there. There has to be. But I haven't infiltrated. So, like, maybe, a couple years down the line, I'll have gone to San Diego enough that I'll know what's cool. But I've known people who live in San Diego, or who used to live in San Diego, and they were gothy and punky, and they said, it's a fantastic place to visit and a really boring place to live. That was their assessment.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you been to the West Coast at all?
Only down to, like, LA and San Pedro area a couple times, and this was quite a few years ago.
What was your feeling about LA? I feel like New Yorkers are bred to have a resentment and hatred for LA.
Well, I didn't spend a lot of time in LA. We only went out a couple nights, and it's just very spread out. Everything is, there's no, like, buildings higher than, like, 2 stories except this very small downtown area. Everything is all very spread out, and it takes a while to drive anywhere.
Like New Jersey.
Haven't spent a lot of time in New Jersey, thankfully. Apologies to New Jersey
New
listeners.
Yorkers are also bred to resent and despise New Jersey. But,
I mean, it was all right. We just went to, like, the Ruby, and I don't even know if these nightclubs are even still there.
Okay.
Just, checked out Rodeo Drive. There was a wonderful record shop called Vinyl Fetish Records.
Okay.
Which, how can you resist a name like that?
It sounds
right?
adorable.
So, yeah, that was really cool. I know I bought some, like, Cure records there, some 12-inch singles, and, some collectible type shit. But, this was 15-ish years ago. So, quite a while ago. Parts of LA seemed fine. I didn't spend a lot of time in LA. But California in general is just a whole different feeling. Southern California, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, San Diego was... It was nice weather. I feel like maybe there's climatic influence on culture, because when you have nice weather all year round, it's different when you have to wait through like 8 months of really difficult weather.
Yeah, there's a certain northeastern bitterness, I think, that comes from living in like the snow belt or whatever.
I think that's real. I mean, but it also applies to Montreal. Even though our trip to Montreal in like kind of one of their worst periods, not like, it's like when you don't go to Montreal.
Yeah.
And it was not a bad time. The food was still great. There was still plenty of things to do.
People were friendly.
Like it. People were friendly. Yeah. So
for sure.
But when it comes spring, Montreal has like a concussive force of their bloom. Like they open and explode into activity with a fervor that is unmatched. That's why, hey, I'll say it. Like, I like living in New York, and I like the New York feel and the history of it. But maybe I like Montreal even more. But maybe. I don't know. It's cool. I've never had to work there. I've never had like a 9 to 5. I've never felt the drudgery of Montreal. I only go there to have fun, so of course I'll like it.
Yeah, it might be a little different when you're commuting in those fucking winters.
True.
Through that whole period,
Yeah, exactly.
You can't tell until you do it.
But yeah, I don't know. I think back to LA. The most damning thing that I ever heard, the most horrible condemnation on Los Angeles, was someone who was from Los Angeles who told me the problem with LA is that while we have the best version of everything, we know it. And I was like, that's why I don't like LA. It's that impression that like, oh, we have the very best in everything. And unfortunately, that luxury has gotten to us. So
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know.
Pizza? Come on.
This person would probably insist that like you've never had New York pizza until you've had it in LA.
Ugh, whatever.
I do still want. Did I ever go off on Utica pizza with you?
No, I don't think so. The tomato pie?
Yeah, our buddy Tommy.
Oh, Tommy. I can't remember his name. I know Tommy.
Yeah, you know Tommy. I don't want to incriminate anyone, just in case they're trying to like search him out. No, Tommy's fine. We'll just go with Tommy.
Yeah.
So Tommy, who has since moved away from the area, he had talked about the unique features of the Utica pie, which is when they have the crust and then they lay the cheese down and then they put the tomato sauce over the cheese. And I was gonna say, it's got a really weird, the best place to get the Utica pie has a really weird name. It's like Skenazi or something like that. it is said very differently from how it's spelled.
Okay.
Skenots or Skenotes or something like that. But I think if you just search, if an interested party were to search for Utica pizza, they would absolutely find it. I'm just not going to do that right now.
I think there's a frozen brand. I don't know if it's any good.
Really?
Like at the local co-op, in the freezer section, there is a Utica style pizza tomato pie available. I haven't tried it.
That's interesting. I guess it must be granted regional validity if there's a mass-produced, mass-marketed variant of it.
I don't know how mass it is, but it's in certain places, yeah.
If all the way in Albany we can get a Utica pie out of our grocer's freezer?
Certain grocer.
They've made it. At least to some extent.
I will say if the Utica pie isn't enough to bring you to Utica, which I haven't heard very many people sing the various virtues of Utica, but I can, if the pie is one, I'll name you one other one.
Oh, right.
The Utica Zoo is actually pretty damn good.
Really?
And they have a red panda.
Oh.
And they have some good primate section, and a few other cool things. So the Utica Zoo is worth a visit, and get your tomato pie.
Okay. Now, would you say this Utica Zoo, is it a bummer? Like a lot of zoo, it's been like so many years, like so many decades actually, since I've been to a zoo. But my recollection is not like happy fun time. It's like the difference between someone being like a free person and in being in a room that's decorated to look like New York City or something. It's like, it just felt weird.
Yeah, I can't say it's the most spacious, well-appointed zoo,
Okay.
but for being a smaller regional, I mean, it's Utica. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
I think they delivered. I don't remember being bummed out by the animals, and I was there recently within the last 4 years. So it was a pretty good time.
I think
thought.
zoos they're evolving with people's awareness, and when people don't really want to see animals that they feel like are unhappy,
Yeah.
I feel like they're getting better with their sensitivity of like what it's like to live there. So
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. I don't think that aspect of it was on my mind. I was distracted enough. Yeah, wasn't bad.
Cool.
Let's take a quick break.
Okay, that's cool. Urine?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And or round 2.
Yes, round 2. Let's do it.
Hi, this is Brian from the Gothsicles and Tiger Squawk Records, and you're listening to 2 Cups of Blood.
Okay, so we're refreshed.
Feeling great.
We have round 2. Let's talk about round 2 for a moment.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. We did variations on the species.
Yeah, so we did the same thing, but instead of our standard premium, generally amazing Jewel of Russia vodka, we tried one with a chocolate-infused vodka, and we tried one with a vanilla-infused vodka. And I have to say, I have the vanilla one, and I don't love it.
I have the chocolate one, and I have to say I like it more than I thought I was going to. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm still, like, pleasantly affected by the first one, or if the chocolate-lime combo was just... I didn't think it was going to... You don't see that in the wilderness.
No.
You don't encounter chocolate-lime that much, but...
I had a sip, and I think it's more successful than
it
the
works.
vanilla.
It works. It does work.
It's not bad. So if you do have chocolate vodka on hand,
Chocolate ginger lime was better than vanilla ginger lime.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised. And on paper, I would think the opposite, but okay.
I don't know. It's a Sobieski vanilla vodka, so it's a little. I don't know. I don't know if it's the best example of a vanilla infused vodka. But the chocolate was Alchemy.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's a very good chocolate infusion. So there could be a factor there.
Oh, there could be like just your general affinity for the vodka that was used.
No, I think as a mix, it works better.
Yeah.
But before we get going, let me just get in some music plugs.
Oh, please, yeah. What's new in the music world?
So on the new music front, I have to say, Mr. Kitty's new album just dropped.
Yes, I saw that.
And I have to say, I have ignored Mr. Kitty up until now, because with a name like Mr. Kitty, and knowing it's kind of electro pop stuff, I was like, this is going to be something I'm not interested in. But I got my head out of my ass, and I listened to Mr. Kitty's new record. It's called Ephemeral, and it's on Negative Gain. Get it on Bandcamp. It's really, really good stuff. It's really well produced, really well put together, great sounds, very different content than I was expecting. I just expected more frivolous nonsense with Mr. I saw Mr. Kitty as maybe being a fader head, but lighter, like nonsensical.
Mr. Kitty is quite a bit different than that.
Yeah, Mr. Kitty is very serious, introspective.
I would say, yeah, their work is it's kind of like if Witch House actually had more musical merit.
I don't know if I would say that.
I don't know. There's something like that's inherently moody.
Yes.
To Mr. Kitty, and
a lot of emotional content, much more than I ever expected.
Yeah, and I think Ephemeral is a 2-disc disc.
Oh, I would.
But yeah, I think it's a larger. It's a extensive release. It's not even,
I mean, people are referring it to a double record. I would call it a triple record. It's 31 tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot on there.
And I believe the price on Bandcamp at least is $25, which I feel is a fair price.
Yeah.
So I would encourage people to check it out. Really, really good stuff. And again, they're on Negative Gain. If you're into physical media, I'm sure you can get it on CD.
Yeah,
double
very
CD.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually just started a conversation with Mr. Kitty.
Yeah.
I think it's primarily one dude.
I think so, yeah. Out of Austin.
Yeah, we're discussing when they were out, they liked the wireless DMX stuff that I was monkeying with. So that's cool. Yeah, nice. And if you feel better supporting musicians who are genuinely cool people, then you can definitely feel good about Mr. Kitty, because cool dude, person.
Gender
Easy.
neutral person.
Gender neutral person.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not see him. I know he did play here, and I missed that show. So maybe I would have been clued in years ago if I had been there.
You know what really does it? The show was interesting, but the structure of the show had the lead performer, I think it might have been just him on stage, but just them on stage. I'm trying to be respectful. I really don't know how they identify, but whatever. Just them on stage. But there was this sense of trying to hide from the audience. So, like, it's like this kind of endearing introversion for somebody who's doing something that is inherently extroverted. So, like, a lot of fog, a lot of, like, bright light facing away from the stage. So there was taking off my sweet dude hat for a second, really difficult to photograph. Like,
that's not the point of nightclubs and performances.
As a photographer, really difficult to photograph.
Boo fucking who?
Look, hey. Look, man. As someone who's also introverted, I find that I enjoy things a lot more when I have a job. So when I'm there to photograph, there is no awkward pause in, like, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm just standing here awkwardly. Having a job is fantastic. And this is not just a ploy to make patrons clear their own drinks, even though they totally should. Just bring it to the bar when you're done. It's not that hard. But anyhow, definitely don't just throw it on the floor, you fucking slob.
Yeah. For real.
Yes. Jeez. So what else you got? What else is new?
Yes, buy Mr. Kitty's shit. Also new on the metal tip, if there's some people who maybe like some kind of doom metal, some black metal kind of stuff, like some heavier guitar sounds, or into some of the heavier Deftones, droney kind of stuff. There's a band out of the UK, and they are called Mammoth Weed Wizard Bastard.
Oh, yeah!
And they have released a record that I don't know how to pronounce, something like Yin Olai, which is Welsh for something like back to go.
Okay.
Yin Olai Anwen, something like that.
Okay.
We'll have the links in the podcast notes, so Mammoth Weed, Wizard Bastard. Very good, kind of longer songs, kind of slower, doomy metal, but they have a female vocalist, and they have this kind of ethereal vocal thing going on. I really like it, and that's not really my jam. So I think it has some crossover potential. It's definitely not like club tracks. You know, Mr. Kitty stuff you could play on a dance floor anywhere.
Yeah.
This is more, personal listening. But I think it's very good and very entertaining stuff. Something a little bit different. I still feel like the female vocal with the heavier guitar music is still sort of underutilized and underexplored.
I think it's a good textural contrast.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. So they do a lot of stuff with, I guess, Welsh titles. So it's interesting because you never see you see some Gaelic sometimes and some Celtic stuff, but
not to say the name again
of the band.
Yeah,
Mammoth Weed Wizard Bastard.
Mammoth Weed Wizard Bastard. It sounds like one of those, like, when the security company calls you and they're like, what is your code phrase? It is Mammoth Weed Wizard Bastard. Okay, sir. Okay, we'll go ahead and disregard that fire alarm.
Maybe that's what that's from. I don't know.
Maybe. Could be.
I don't know how they picked it.
Anything else?
A couple things. So something that isn't new, but was sort of new to me. It was something I ignored for a while because I'm like, really, how good could this be? Massive Attack has a mezzanine remaster that's coming out very soon, which includes a bonus disc of some remixes. But a couple years ago, maybe 10-ish years ago, maybe a little bit more, they released a remixes album for Mezzanine. I believe it's literally called Mezzanine - the Remixes.
Okay, that would make sense.
And I kind of saw it on iTunes. I kind of ignored it. I was like, this is gonna suck. Mezzanine is a masterpiece. I don't think I'm gonna like these remixes.
That is always the weird thing where, like, when there's an album of, like, incredible, like, just Goliaths of hits, like, the remix is the remix for a reason, because the original mix is the jam.
Yeah.
But these were good, you say?
I think it's pretty good stuff. Like, it's not gonna blow your mind, but they are it's actually very good stuff, and I enjoy it as much as the record. It gives a new spin on some of the tunes that isn't annoying. It doesn't take away from anything, but it's generally, it does exactly what a remix album is supposed to do. There's some misses, don't get me wrong, but there's a bunch of good stuff on that record. Massive Attack, Mezzanine, the remixes, pretty good.
You played a couple of those tracks for me, and okay, so was I drunk at the time or just getting ready to get drunk?
You were driving, so I hope you weren't drunk.
I think I wasn't drunk. It was late. It was late.
Yeah.
But my recollection was that they were delightful in that, you know the songs. You know them. And yet somehow these remixes sneak up on you, and it's only, enough of the way in where you're like, oh shit, this is Teardrop? That is really, like, that's kind of fun, because it's a good song, but then it's a recognizable song, and that sort of surprise is really entertaining for each track. Was that me or you?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
Really good, and all of these, I think these were newer remixes. I might have this reversed. They're definitely different from all the remixes that are going to be on the remaster that's coming soon.
Oh, interesting.
There's no repeats. So I think these are either newer remixes, and the stuff on the remaster is the original era's remixes or something like that, or maybe I have that reversed. But they're from different time periods, and there's no overlap.
Okay.
So yeah.
Did you have one more?
I do have one more. So again, something a little bit older, They have a new record out. I haven't heard the new record, and I can't comment on it, but I will tell you about it briefly. There's a band called The Twilight Sad, and they opened for The Cure. I think that was 2015 or 2016 when The Cure did their last big tour, at least in North America. They're an English and Scottish band. You'll never hear a band that sounds as Scottish as this guy sounds.
Nice.
The record I'm most familiar with is Nobody Wants to Be Here and Nobody Wants to Leave. And that came out a few years ago. And again, it's The Twilight Sad. Kind of morose. I wouldn't call it Cure-ish exactly, but it's some of the same emotions. It's good stuff. Very, as I said, like you've never heard a Scottish accent as strong in a singing voice as this, but it gives it some charm. It gives it some. What did he just say? But you can kind of understand it, and then you hear it again. You're like, okay, that's what he's saying. Just a really solid record. Almost the whole thing through is really good, and it brings me right back to that show when I saw them, and that night I saw them at Madison Square Garden, and the sound was just immaculate, and it was just a really good night altogether.
You know, that really means something when you go to a concert and they have that much attention to sound quality. Like, it's not always the case. That's
true. I've been to Madison Square Garden a couple times, and the sound there is always immaculate, which kind of blows my mind because that's such a big place, and to get the sound to sound that good no matter where you are is a very big accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I haven't had sonically, I have not had a bad experience there yet.
Cool.
So they do have a new record out. I know the lineup has changed, and I have not heard the new record, but I would still say it's probably pretty good. I know it has gotten pretty universally positive reviews, and it's called It Won't Be Like This All the Time. So the band is The Twilight Sad. I can definitely recommend Nobody Wants to Be Here and Nobody Wants to Leave. The new record, It Won't Be Like This All the Time. Probably also very good.
Cool. Well, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, that's definitely... I would describe them as a typical sounding, sonically, like sort of alternative band, leaning to a goth edge. Not really a goth band or anything, but
okay.
Definitely something I think goths would appreciate.
Cool. Well, goths are of amazing quality and diverse taste. So,
for sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I think we should make these capsule reviews of releases present and past a fixture of the program.
Yeah.
If it isn't already.
I try to make it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it happens every time. I just only, because I'm slow or drunk, I only just realized that, like, yeah, this is like a valuable thing where somebody listening might like to catch up on something they missed or hear about something new that they might not know about.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I didn't know until I looked today that The Twilight Sad had a new one out. I was going to mention the old record. And then, oh shit, there's a new record. I haven't had the chance to check it out.
Bam. So I can, I'm gonna reciprocate a little bit, but I'm gonna start by saying that I had an interesting experience where somehow my cat managed to delete around 60 gig of my music collection.
Wow.
But it was weird. Like, so I have this, this lectern that I have my stuff set up to make it really approachable and easy if I feel like just walking up and doing some DJing. So the cats love hanging out on this thing and walking across the laptop. And it's got like a keyboard cover, so no harm done usually. But somehow they deleted 60 gig worth of stuff from my hard drive. And I don't know... Like, I can't really say what they deleted. I restored a bunch of it because, I am first and foremost a nerd. So if you have one copy, you have none. if you have 2 copies, you have 1, and you ideally want several different levels of backup for stuff that you care about. So, I did have a backup. I went into the time machine. I was like, they deleted everything I had from Angel Spit. Like, Angel Spit was gone. And that's not trivial. That was like a lot of stuff. And like, it was weird because it wasn't that they deleted. I have no idea how this happened. My cats did not delete like an alphabetical block. It was like there were jumps. Like they deleted some A's and some C's, but spared people in the B's. And I don't know how they did this. I have no idea how they deleted so weirdly strategically. But like, yeah, Angel Spit was gone.
Wow.
Like Asylum was gone. Like there was like a few different artists just eradicated, but plenty in between that were spared. So some of my new release stuff is.
Let me just say, my cats have, the 2 most recent incidences I can think of are, they definitely made a Facebook post, which was like just a 1 character, like some ridiculous Facebook thing that actually got posted, which was weird. And then they renamed one of the tracks I was working on for this band, Stoker.
Okay.
And like it was wiped out and renamed something weird, and I was like, oh my god, what is that? Oh no. But they just renamed it, and they didn't mess with it.
Did you listen to it and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah, no, it's fine.
That's Train to Midnight, or whatever the track was.
Yeah, I just had to restore the name, but yeah, if I don't close that lid, or at least get it like to a 45-degree angle so they can't fucking step on the keyboard. Like,
it is amazing what a cat can do with just random key presses.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, there's a bunch of new stuff, and I'm not going to be able to give reviews because a bunch of this stuff is, I haven't quite listened to it. I have a vulnerability where when I'm driving, I really get hooked on like quote unquote reading, and I'm big into audiobooks. So I don't always
I still need those files.
All right, I'll get them to you. I don't always like diligently comb through the new releases like I should, but I will give a quick rundown of some things that are new and notable to check out. Pig has a Stripped and Whipped, which is a new remix album of all sorts of different classics and whatnot.
Hasn't Pig put out like 3 releases in the last year and a half? It's just crazy.
They have done some really amusing stuff. They did like a Christmas release that was like, what was it? Blue Christmas, where they did the Elvis Presley cover.
I totally missed that one.
I think that Pig has a real sense of humor. That's the way I like it. With Sasha Grey it's charming. It's not like, you would never say this is great, but at the same time, you never feel like they are high on their own shit, feeling like they're amazing. They're just like, yeah, this is fucking fun. So yeah, Pig Stripped and Whipped. There is a new Black Audio. The dudes, that's sort of like the successor project of AFI.
Yeah, Jade and Davey Havoc.
Yeah, so they just came out with Only Things We Love. It's a crime, it's a shortcoming, I'm sorry. I haven't listened to it at all. But, it's enough that I am going to call it out as something interesting. Something not quite out yet that I was quite graciously granted an advanced DJ copy of is Moris Blak has remixed Grimes' We Appreciate Power. And
whoa.
It's interesting. What I find most, and I was talking with Brian Blacknoise of Moris Blak, and I neglected to ask, which I really should have, but I'm not a professional interview person. So I should have asked, but I believe that they did this remix without any and forgive me if I'm using the wrong terminology, without any stem access.
Like official multi-track.
Right. They were not like given any assistance in making this remix by Grimes. It's just him and I think someone else. I don't know who his collaborator was, but they were just able to chop up certain sections and isolate certain sections after the fact to make a pretty interesting remix. I liked it. I did listen to, liked it quite a bit. Grendel has a new release called Inhumane Amusement at the End of Ages Redo. And it's an extensive release. It comes with a bonus disc. I'll use the term disc, but most people are buying digital. And you know what? God damn it. I'm sorry, Alpha Matrix. This is the one negativity I will indulge myself. Just stop releasing Depeche Mode cover albums. Just stop it.
You might have already bitched about this.
It wasn't just them. Everyone is like, even Depeche Mode is releasing like different versions and remix and covers, and like it's just really fucking annoying. They're not getting better. They're not bringing new stuff. Okay. I'm catching myself, and I'm gonna say I did not listen to Alpha Matrix recovered Volume 3 yet. Maybe it's got some fucking unbelievable awesome shit.
I just totally fucking forgot. I did not write this down as a note.
Okay.
There is new Meat Beat Manifesto coming.
Get out of here.
No, not at all.
They're still alive?
I will not. They are alive.
I'm staying.
There's a new song they put out. It's not... I wouldn't say it's terribly breaking any new ground for them, but it's their shit. And if you like Meat Beat Manifesto's, then late 90s output...
Then wait for it. This is what it's all about.
I don't remember the name.
Oh, well, that's like one of their biggest things. This
is
what it's all about.
I don't know that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was
I'm undereducated.
Banger. Yeah.
Apologies. But they have some new stuff coming.
Oh, cool.
As well.
New Meat Beat.
Yeah. New singles out, new record coming.
It's one of those things where even if you weren't a huge fan, if like ChemLab put out something new, you'd be like, oh shit, ChemLab.
ChemLab has good shit. Yeah, for sure. I'd be into that.
Yeah. So I'm down. I'll watch for that. Wait for it. I'm gonna now. This is kind of my pattern. I'll have like a lash out, and then I'll feel like a dick about it.
And you roll it back.
And then I'll roll it back.
Yeah.
Some. So what I will say is, I'll make a promise for next time that I'll probably forget. But my promise for next time is I'm going to listen to Alpha Matrix Recovered 3 and actually give a review of whether or not they included covers that brought new, like, relevant new artistry to these Depeche Mode classics.
Yeah.
Because looking at it, they have work by Comer Commando, they have work by Alien Vampires, they have Diffusion. They actually do have artists that I respect quite a bit and am interested in quite a bit. So it's like, if I just didn't have that negative reaction to like us having recently been absolutely deluged with Depeche Mode remixes and covers, maybe I would have been more receptive. But
yeah, bad
timing.
Is this a typical priced release, or is it pay what you want? What is it?
I got DJ promo, so I couldn't say.
Okay. So I think some of their comps are maybe not pay what you want, but then maybe a low price point on those to get you into the band.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's quite reasonable, and I think there's a lot of bands that I really like on that. So maybe it is worthwhile. But
check out Alpha Matrix's Bandcamp. I'll get the link in the notes for everybody.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And the last one I was going to mention is that Lizette has just released a new thing called Non. It's interesting. I feel like I've spoken on this before, but I feel like the whole gender plurality that we're seeing as rising in prevalence in modern society is an offshoot of us living in the actual singularity, where human physicality is becoming not unimportant, but definitely far less important than it used to be. When you can have conversations with people over years without ever knowing anything of their physicality, it's undeniable that it's changing its priority. So there's just interesting stuff where they do, the whole non is that they don't identify as a man or a woman. And there's a track called Non where it's like, you want to call me a girl, you want to call me a woman, I am Non. So it's just interesting where people are not even no longer identifying, but actually actively rejecting that sort of constrictive classification where I think conservative traditionalists would say, would cling to old identification. I tend to say that I really appreciate people feeling claustrophobic and not wanting to have their behavior constricted by what people think is appropriate for them to be doing. So, granted, there are very few people that I know that are more liberal than I am. So, with a grain of salt, I respect lots of different perspectives, but I like that feeling of not constricting yourself to what you think is appropriate for someone of your age, gender, class, race to be doing. And just life is for living, and it's all these experiences that you can give your brain that's in your vessel. The vessel is not as important as what you taste of life. That's the way I see it. So I don't know. I am very supportive to anyone who's branching out and pushing the envelope for what is acceptable for someone to experience in their life.
That's really well said. And I think that falls very easily into your artistic aesthetic and you trying to enable, artistry in the culture of the scene. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was gonna that almost segues into drugs, which I was about to talk about.
Go right ahead.
Well, I guess in tangential, it's hard for me to be really against drugs. I don't love them, and I don't feel I feel like there's a balance to things where it's very easy for people to not be satisfied with their non-drug life and instead opt for drugs as an alternative to being sober, as preferentially. But what I will say is that it is really fucking annoying when, as an open person at, a goth night, I never feel an animosity towards tourists because everyone who's in the scene was at one point a tourist. At one point they were interested in it and wanted to check it out and then got it and stayed with it. So I think that was me this time. So I think, I don't hate tourists, but what I do hate are tourists who come in and do drugs and want to fuck with people. Put at a goth night, you are not going to be fucked with by the goths. They may not talk to you, they may not be warm and welcoming, but that's not even because they're not nice people. It's just they don't know you and they're introverted people and they don't talk to people they don't know.
Yeah.
That's, I try to be the one goth who's really warm to people who I don't know. And I'm like, hey, it's your first time out. Well, request books over there. I'm glad you're giving it a try. That kind of thing.
You're really good at that.
Well, thank you.
That's totally not my jam. I'm exactly what you previously just described.
There's nothing wrong with it. Like, if going back to me saying I'm more comfortable with the job, if I consider that one of my duties is recognizing someone who is new and welcoming them, I'm not taking a personal risk in talking to someone I don't know. I'm just doing my job. So
right.
that's how I get around my anxiety of talking to people. But
okay.
But like these tourists, they pop out for one night only, and they do like fucked up stupid shit, like put stuff in people's drinks for no reason, and like get fucked up and act like assholes for no reason. I just don't get it. Like I'm not like anti-drug. I think this life, pretty much everyone's life, involves some psychoactive experimentation, even if it's as mild as getting drunk. Like,
oh yeah,
everyone has it. It's just like part of the human experience of like, these are the rules of reality. Let's bend them a little bit.
It's a universal human desire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like, I am not a prude. I'm really not. But I am really irritated, like, to the point of, like, I wish that I had seen the person who would have put something in someone's drink, because then it, like, if they're identified by someone who's got a respectable perspective, like, you know, if another tourist is like, hey, I think they did something to someone's drink, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to correct that, get them to stop drinking their drink, and keep a really close eye on them. Whereas if someone in management sees it, like, that person is instantly kicked out, if not worse.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know what is up. What is it that makes tourists think that's fun or funny?
I don't know. You can't really try to read into people's intentions or mindset. So there's two aspects, right? You never know what someone's thinking or what they're going to do, and you can't judge people by appearances. So
that's true.
You have to judge them by their actions and just deal with what they actually do. And you're trying to prevent harm in the nightclub scene, and that can be difficult, you know. And I was having this discussion with one of the promoters a week or two ago. You know, there's been a lot of tourists recently because the night is the current night, Ex-Humanity is getting very popular and very well known as a very popular night at the nightclub we're in right now, the Fuse Box. I'll
go out on a limb and say it is the best thing to do on a Friday night, even though it only happens one Friday of the month. It is right. It is like the shit to do.
Yeah. And the bartenders love to work it because it's a popular night and a lot of people come out, and there's a lot of non-goths there, but
overwhelmingly really well-behaved non-goths.
Yeah, I don't know if they really cause a problem. You know, there's some standing around on the dance floor, which is annoying because there's a very limited amount of space.
Yeah.
And people want to express themselves and be able to dance in a appropriate amount of square footage. And if that's just being taken up by a bunch of people in white caps, you know, drinking their beers, it's kind of annoying.
True.
But I don't know what you can do about that besides, you know, I don't know.
You know, it's funny because it's part of my personality. I have a reflexive reaction against gatekeeping. But even when it's like a legit protective gatekeeping, I can't really endorse it. So like when people talk about dress codes and stuff,
that's where I was going. So yeah,
I just feel this reaction of like, if I work at McDonald's and I just got off work and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and I know I can either go home and get changed and just not go out because I'm home at 2:00 in the morning and that's that, or show up in my work clothes. I would rather someone just show up as they are and participate in the culture than not. But
I understand that.
But I do understand that, like, if you say minimum all black, then you have an excuse when someone shows up, and I'll do like the coin flip here. The guy at the door is, judgmental of how they look, or the guy at the door has a good intuition about how they look, which, honestly, at our venue, I trust intuition quite a bit. When someone comes up and they're already drunk and they're wearing a snapback gimme, a free, so the hats that are given that are
Sorry,
free.
I don't know what that means.
a gimme is like a promotional hat.
Okay.
It's like made of the cheapest material.
Like Heineken?
It says Heineken on it, and it's a snapback with mesh portion, whatever. A gimme, snapback gimme. If he feels like, nah, this person's not a great idea, at least he can say, I'm sorry you're not meeting the dress code, minimum all black.
Right. Selectively enforced dress code.
Yeah.
Whatever bullshit you want to make up, black shoes, like, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, honestly, if someone has come out and they're dressed creatively, they'll get in. Mm-hmm. But it's just, when I was in that position, I never felt good about creating an extra barrier to someone who's interested in the culture.
Yeah, I hear that. But how can you tell if they're interested in the culture or if they're just looking for a thrill or whatever the negative...
I thought maybe a code of conduct was a good thing. Just everyone who comes in, you agree to the code of conduct. Okay, cool. Welcome. But I also feel like when you put up a code of conduct, there's sort of like an implication that is a place that does not always adhere to that code. So like if you went to Crossgates and there was a code of conduct thing that was like flamethrowers are not allowed, you see that and you're like, what the fuck made them put that on the list? That's like. Like, did something happen here? So, like, it's one of those things where, I don't know, there's a stigma. Ah, shit, I didn't pee when we took our break. And now I feel like I gotta. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Do you want a monologue? You want a beatbox, a rap or something while I do that?
My beatboxing skills are not...
immaculate.
...worthy of...
Shit.
...exposing in a public forum.
Oh, God.
You just do your thing, man. It's a really good reflection in the bottom of this cup.
Yeah, it's kind of unnerving where I see my face looking back at me for a second. I was like, jeez, shit.
It's very, I can't imagine drinking absinthe out of one of these. It's like, in the delirium, you're like, oh. It's very, very Van Gogh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very much. There's something about, like, I don't think it tastes different because it's in a copper cup, but I think that there are negative health effects of copper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you don't want, like, copper cookware is a mistake. Like, it will definitely put things in your food that you don't want in your food.
Oh.
Now, in a cocktail glass, I don't think it's an issue. I don't think that I don't think we're, like, that's it, welcome to Alzheimer's. I don't think it's that bad. But, I think if we only drank out of copper cups, maybe.
Okay, well, that's good safety tip.
Thing. Yeah, welcome.
All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. What?
So I don't know where I was going with this rant about, the bad behavior of tourists who are new to a scene and like feel like.
And what can you do about tourists? You have a selectively enforced dress code, or you just let them all in, and you expose your culture to everybody and to show them how cool it is, and you just have to deal with the douchebags that come through. So both of those have their positives and negatives, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's less of a problem that I had to deal with because it's been a growth. There's definitely been like a growth thing where the nights, even off nights, like when there's nothing that's been hugely promoted happening, are getting bigger and bigger. It's like,
really?
Yeah, it's big. There's big turnouts every month, but I think that it's one of those things where it is a really special culture where there's something artistic happening every time. There's this feeling of acceptance where people get nowhere else that like is really I should say almost nowhere else. The somewhere else is that there's Albany is graduating to now having more than one event happening.
That's true. That's
probably a more lighthearted topic than like goddamn normal people showing up and fucking things up. So
they don't always fuck things up. Let's be clear.
Well, that's the thing. The normal people do always fuck things up. It's just most people who look normal are not really normal, and they were meant to be there all along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have another goth event that it's not monthly. It's more like a quarterly thing that happens every couple of months. I think it's every other month.
I don't know what the true schedule is going to be, but I think there was February, and now isn't it March or
April 20th?
It's going to be April. Oh,
yeah.
That's right, April 20th. That's
so
right.
It's like tongue in cheek. I don't know if there's some sort of theme to a 420 goth night.
I'm not sure, but I think the aforementioned Brian Blacknoise is going to help DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Exciting. And that is fudge.
It's DJ K-Spek's Night at Rocks, and this one's going to be called Black Hearts?
No. That was the
different,
first event.
Right?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Shit. Man, I am a worthless ally. Really, it's like there's a thing happening and it's going to take place someplace and it's called something. I suggest you go. Yeah, that's my preparation for you. Let me see here. April. I know that they've booked a really, mediocre but warm photographer to shoot there. That's me. I'm gonna be doing some photography there, because if there's one thing I can do, it's take blurry pictures of people in the dark.
Yes, you have much experience with this.
Yes, hell yeah. Okay. So yeah, on April 20th, we have the second event of Obscuron. I don't think it was known as Obscuron the first time. They did Black Hearts, but
right.
K-Spek has branched out to another club and is doing, over at Rocks in Albany, is now doing a second occasional. This one is called Torrent, and it's an interesting venue. It's like, I feel like one half of the club is kind of like Thunderdome, and the other half is kind of a dive bar, so it's like a weird... I feel...
That sounds good.
Maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I feel like there's almost an amphitheater vibe in one half of it. So,
That sounds pretty cool.
It's interesting, and I know K-Spek is actually in the amphitheater part. The first time she was in the dive bar area. And it's not a dive bar, but it's more like it's not as much space. The lighting, any lighting effect that you turn on is to your detriment because it's like super bright. It's like being locked in a coat closet with DJ lights. It's just so small and the lights are so close to your face that it's not going to be fun.
Just overkill.
Yeah, it's way too much. Anything is way too much. So, that said, in the main area, I think it's fantastic. And actually, did she have she did have a second event that we were not able to attend because it happened while we were out of the country.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but
crap. Yeah, that's right. Because we had planned to be away.
Recluse.
That's right.
Was involved. So forgive me for
that was it. Wasn't that Black Hearts?
I thought Black Hearts was. Oh, you're right because it was around Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was the 16th, I think.
Okay, so
or the 15th.
Yeah, I just missed out. I felt like because I was aware of it early on, it felt like when I became aware of it, that was the first event. When it actually happened was the second event, and now we're up to the third. So okay.
It's this. Yeah, first and second.
But yeah, okay. I'm stating things as a drunk person. Yeah, man, totally up to the sixth time through, and it's great.
2 mules will give you a kick.
Eighth time the charm. You know what I'm saying? You got this, girl. But no, for the second event of Obscuron, Torrent, it's on April 20th, and I'm looking forward to doing photography in a new venue, almost as much as I'm looking forward to hearing what K-Spek and Brian Blacknoise have to bring. Brian, I don't know that he always does it, but I've heard a really cool blend of hip hop and industrial in his work. He really loves low frequency manipulation. He calls it industrial bass music, and I think that's a genre, or at least a subgenre that's other artists are doing now, where there's good low frequency. I don't know. It's a weird thing to fixate on, but I feel like it's not always represented.
That's cool. I have a little insider information that Moris Blak is working on a new release. Was hoping to get it out this month. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's coming soon, and it's going to have a number of guest artists contributing. So it should be really cool.
Really?
Yes.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
I don't know how much I can say, but...
well, what else do you think you can say? Just forthcoming release that's really exciting with some surprise guests?
Some guest artists, one of whom might be from this area.
God damn it.
Not myself.
Is it you?
No.
Wait, but is it really you?
No. So we'll see. I don't know how much. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So.
Okay, well, no, I mean...
But yeah, he'll have new stuff coming soon. It should be very, very cool.
Well, yeah, I guess, just to be promotionally helpful, look out for it.
Yeah.
Moris Blak. Is it under Moris Blak or Brian Blacknoise?
I believe it's a Moris Blak. It's going to be a Moris Blak release.
Okay, exciting.
To my knowledge, and it's up for debate, but pretty sure Moris Blak.
I'm not perfect. I realize that, I have grudges. Moris Blak just moved to Boston.
Yep.
And I was like, Boston is great, except for the people.
Well, the people are getting better.
I don't think they are.
Brian Grobner just moved there.
Okay, I guess by small percentages, the people are undeniably getting better. And granted, Brian, I guess if you're cool and you're Brian, you gotta move to Boston because you're part of the...
It's the new requirement.
The Brian Initiative?
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, I already dwelled on it, so I'm not going to rehash, but just when you do something that's awesome in Boston, you will inevitably come away saying, it was really cool, except for the disruptive douchebags that were there. I feel like that... I don't know. Okay. Oh, I'm going to roll it back because I shouldn't have... Here's what I do. With my trademark rollback, there's douchebags everywhere. They're not isolated to any region.
That's true.
You just got to, when you're... I will say that when you're uncomfortable in a new place, you can notice the douchebags more than if it was your spot,
That's true.
So that's all it is. But anyhow.
I'll say that the one experience I've had with dress code at a goth club was at Man Ray, which was in the Boston area.
Okay.
back in the day, I had a buddy who was wearing some Chuck Taylors. I don't remember if they were white or red, but the doorman was just like, not coming in here with those shoes. So we were like, what? So I'm like, all right, you guys go in, I'll hang out with Jamie and we'll go figure something out. We went to a bodega and got some like black liquid shoe polish and we colored his Chuck Taylors black. And we came back and kind of, when that doorman wasn't looking, we got through another doorman.
Do you think that original doorman would be like,
I don't know.
You think you can come back with different colored shoes and get in here?
I don't know.
Are you crazy?
I don't know. I think
that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is amazing.
I don't know. And I don't know if it was that guy. I don't know if it was just trying to filter out the casual douchebags who are going to disrupt it. I don't know what the motivation was. But it definitely didn't seem totally universally enforced. It seemed like maybe he thought this guy was going to be a problem and just gave him shit on a reason he found. You know what I mean?
Which I guess, he could have just been making a misjudgment.
That too, Jamie, the guy I was with was a cool person, wasn't in the scene, was definitely on the punk side of things, but was not going to be a problem.
I think that like a goth club not letting a punk in is getting on the like edge of like ridiculous splitting of hairs.
That's true. And to describe Jamie as a punk isn't quite accurate, but that's what I would describe maybe his aesthetic as. Not even. I don't even know what to describe his aesthetic as at that time. But, red or white Chuck Taylors, I mean, really? Who cares?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
That's pretty funny.
But them shits is black now.
There you go. He was willing. That's the thing. If you're willing to go ahead and get the shoe polish to color it black, then yeah, you've demonstrated your commitment to the culture. You're in. You're welcome.
For sure.
Come on in. Have a free drink.
Well, that did not happen.
That did not happen.
In fact, the bartender was quite snippy about people who he thought wasn't tipping, but we did tip, so a lot of very sensitive people that night in Boston.
So wait
that's
a
all
second.
I'll say.
I think there's not that's all we'll say. This is a good ass story. So what the fuck happened with did you say asshole, I've been giving you $1 tip for every goddamn shitty.
No, the guy thought we weren't tipping. He's like, look, if you guys aren't going to tip, you can just fucking leave. Or something super get the fuck out.
That's really aggressive.
It was. And it was kind of weird because it's not like there was. I mean, this was a fairly packed night and the guy was making money. So it was uber sensitive. And it's not. We weren't not going to tip. We did tip the bartender. So.
Well,
it was just weird.
Do you feel like you got accidentally judged for not tipping, or do you think that you just caught the brunt of their frustration for other people not tipping?
Yeah, that's the tough one. Maybe it was a little bit of both.
I mean,
and this was 20 years ago, so
right.
The memory's a little foggy. But
plus, it's a human being who's running the bar, so
exactly.
You don't know what made them have a short temper that night. Anything can happen.
That's right.
Did you say is the tip that we're giving on every drink we get inappropriate? We don't mean to be rude, but
no, there wasn't a conversation. He just kind of said that and stalked off. So we were like, what the fuck? And a couple more dollars and whatever. Yeah, it wasn't an interaction.
But that's the risk. Is you put down a $2 tip instead of a $1 tip, and didn't feel like going back to the bar because that guy was just
exactly
oddly, weirdly confrontational for no fucking reason.
Exactly, and the prices weren't cheap to begin with. So yeah, it's tough especially when you're a student, you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, when I went to the Brighton Music Hall recently, and overwhelming, fantastic sound, really good sound system. Kind of surprisingly for the look of the building, you wouldn't think their acoustics would be that great, but really good sound. But it really impacted me that the drinks were all stupid ass expensive. It's like, I don't know, what would you expect for like a Red Bull and vodka kind of thing at, I'm kind of used to that being somewhere between $6 and $8.
Yeah, in a major city, it's tough because we are near New York City and Boston, which I know we're going to be more, but I would hope not more than $10.
No, I think, maybe this is perceptual clouding, but I kind of recall it was like a $14 drink.
Okay, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I think my getting a Red Bull, a sugar-free Red Bull and blueberry vodka was a $14 affair.
Now, were they not fucking around with the vodka? Was it like a uber nice?
No. I mean, really, $14 is more than that entire bottle of Sobieski blueberry cost.
Was it Sobieski?
I do think it was.
That is not a pricey vodka.
Maybe it was Smirnoff blueberry.
Even so.
Yeah, like that was the whole goddamn bottle. So like it just kind of irritated me that, but hey, it's a business, and if the market will support $14 shots mixed with honestly, the Red Bull was far more expensive per ounce than the vodka was, but hey, whatever. If the market supports it, they're doing what they got to do. But I think long term, it's better to have actual, legitimately thought out prices for drinks rather than like what's the most we can possibly get for this.
Now, do you ever get to the point where if you're getting $14-15 drinks, you're doing the 15 to 20% tip calculation, and you're like, oh shit, I need to tip them like $2 or $3 on this one?
Never. Gonna go with never on that because I think you can't hold the same 15% for bartender drinks. If you've asked for something absurd, if you've asked for like a blender drink that's set on fire,
like something hard to make that takes
then
effort,
maybe a couple. Yeah. Otherwise, and I'm sure that there's bartenders who are going to like shake their head and be like, no, dude, we need more tip than that. Otherwise, if it was a simple ass drink, just put $1. That's not bad considering the number of drinks. If they serve 400 drinks in a night and they've gotten $1 tip on every one of them, they can't be feeling like that was a shit night. I mean...
Rent is expensive in Boston, I'll tell you that.
Well, that's Boston's fault.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. Driving is difficult in Boston. Also Boston's fault. It's like, I can't take culpability for that. I mean...
Fair enough.
But, I've always thought if it's not a crazy drink, if it's not a drink that has more than 3 components, then, $1 is really not a crazy, like, stingy bastard. What? You disagree?
No, I'm wondering the perspective, that's all.
Well, we'll see. What is it? Like, comment, subscribe. Is that what everyone says on podcasts or something?
Whatever.
Yeah. So anyhow, if you're a bartender and you're listening to this and you're like, you son of a bitch, that's my livelihood. I need at least $5 tip per drink. Explain it. Leave a comment saying what the real world is actually like, because I've never been a bartender. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. So yeah, that's a good point. We do have a Facebook presence now, and you can get the podcast on YouTube now. So we are out there.
Hell yeah.
And we'll listen to you, and we'll start posting more photos, and we'll actually reply.
Yeah, and I'll get my lazy ass fingers to type more and actually add shit to the page, because it is created, but it's far from like fully engaged. The transmission is not yet in gear.
Yeah.
But it's happening. It's coming along.
We'll get more photos up there and interesting things, so
yeah, stay tuned. Hell yeah.
I really don't have much else, so any other topics you've got?
I don't. I'm going to selectively skip over the media section. Usually we frequently, I won't say usually, but we frequently would discuss movies and stuff that we've seen and that stuff that's coming that we're looking forward to. But I'll skip that. You know, people have seen movies. It's great. Movies are great. Maybe next time. But I will talk about, I will touch a little bit on planning an event. And so there's an event that I have not 100% committed to doing. I am about 2 months ahead of the event date, which for me, like that may seem to someone who is not a promoter like so far out, but for me that is actually like it's getting close to being too soon to actually do it well. Because, hear me out, so what you can't see is that
I was like making a motion like, come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
You
So
can do this.
here's the thing, is one of the things that is required. So I am starting to plan an outdoor function in a public park, and it can be done renegade style, where you just show up and do it, but there's a high likelihood that it's going to get dispersed. Now, the likelihood, as I found out doing some research, is that any gathering in this park, and this is going to vary park by park, of course, and municipality by municipality, but in this park, any gathering that will have, I believe, 25 to 50 or 25 or more people attending at one point, you really need a permit for. So if it's like, and I could anticipate the way I want to execute this, having more than 25 people there at once. So I've been investigating what would it be to have a park gathering of 25 to 50 people where we do a silent disco style established event where the DJs are not producing outward sound, but they are broadcasting and people are listening on headphones and personal radios and, just hanging out in the radius of the thing. And it turns out that you need, in this municipality anyhow, I gotta stop saying that word. In this area anyhow, you need at least 20 days of advance notice, and that the application to get, the application has to be accompanied by $1 million in general liability insurance.
What?
Yes.
For what?
Just
People
in case
hurting
things
themselves?
happen. Well, it's not even medical. It's more about what if someone chops down a tree or something else happens.
Trees are free. They don't cost $1 million.
Well, hey, I can't say exactly what the thinking was, but any event, that's the thing, is it scales. It's 25 people up to like a full park experience. They're all $1 million general liability insurance. However, that is $146.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's like term insurance for like one day.
Yeah, it's just one day. I gave the hours that it was. It was kind of interesting because when I said we're doing, I don't know if you've heard of this sort of thing, we're doing a silent disco type event. He was like, no, we know those. We can insure those. What kind of music will your DJs be spinning? There's a whole range that make it more or less expensive.
Country and Western.
That's probably cheap. I don't think it's right, because I've seen country dudes fuck shit up.
Oh, yeah.
But there's like the country western classic rock up to techno and EDM. Those are like the two bookends of like cost. Because like on the one side you have like dudes who might get into fights. On the other side, you have people who might be using a lot of drugs. And this is not my judgment. This is the insurance company perspective on insuring this event. I find it really kind of insulting that they make this cultural. Like, I feel like it's on the same level of asking, well, do you think your demographic is going to be a white turnout or a non-white turnout? Like, it's that kind of thing where I feel like they're discriminating on factors that they really can't, that I'm not super comfortable with them doing. I understand that they're motivated by the factors they have identified, right or wrong, the factors they have identified, still not super comfortable with it. But anyhow, I said, plan on death metal. I think that's a pretty good approximation as far as, like, heuristically. I don't think there's enough goth-industrial presence for them to have a good model for that. But death metal is kind of, like, mostly really tight-knit people who are going to help each other out. Their music can be aggressive at times, but...
Maybe just alternative? Would that be a category they had?
Yeah, but I'm not going to play Bush and Creed.
Well, yeah, but goth is a, post-punk alternative.
What I actually explained to the guy was, when I hire DJs, I don't give them artistic guidelines. I don't say, I need you to do this. I say, we want you to be at this event for this kind of crowd. You're going to play what you're going to play. You're going to react to the crowd. That's cool. So I expressed that to the guy. He asked me a lot of interesting things like, what DJs do you have booked? And I just said, it's preliminary. It's just local DJs. But
Dimitri.
Yeah, DJ Dimitri, bro. Oh, my God. You didn't hear Dimitri Vegas something?
Sorry, inside joke.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, my God. Anyhow, so, like, in the end, I thought that the quote was going to come back a lot higher and unapproachable. But at $146 for the one day from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m., I think that's doable. And so you have to have your insurance secured before you put in your application. So it's like you have to be willing and organized enough that you have your shit together and you have a reasonable chance of being approved. Otherwise, you just lose the money you spent on insurance. So I think it's between $20 and $50 to get the permit to have the assembly in the park.
Well, that's not bad.
No. So basically, it all comes down to a $200 or so outlay to have a 25 to 50 person gathering in the park that we're picking. There's things I don't know yet, like if I have this permit, will they give me access to an electricity supply? Or do I also have to consider like alternative things like I need to rent a generator for the event and things like that, which I know that I don't, because I know that there's power in the park. But getting permission to use that power, I really don't want to do things the wrong way. I don't want, this gathering to be broken up because we didn't have respect for the park.
Right.
So, I really would like, so the whole event is sort of a welcome to the spring season. It's called the Rite of Spring. It may not happen, but it's another like thing that we can talk about on a couple occasions. Matt, you've agreed that you would do a set. You're on board for
sure
for doing some spinning. So
we'll do a couple.
It's like one of those things where we did. My partner and I, we went to Montreal for what their version of this was, and it was cool. It was just like less featured. It was like a bunch of goth people who like maybe were playing music on their phones. Maybe someone brought a radio that they had like a mix CD in.
It's very laid back, basically.
Yeah, it was laid back, and they did sort of like cutely erect a cardboard coffin as like the totem of like you're in the right spot if you didn't know.
That's cute.
So like it was cute, and like, but it was disjointed. People hung out for a couple hours and then moved on. But I think that with the Rite of Spring, of course I overthink things, and everything that I do is an excuse to make like sort of an art installation. So I wanted to do something where it was from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., like DJs and whatnot. And after, like just at dusk at the closing, there's the closing right that involves an upward video projection onto a semi-transparent tarp that does like a summoning circle that is like bringing in spring. So like thinking of cool shit, and it's always like if I can share an artistic experience where people will remember it afterward, that's really the most. That's how I want to like give something to the world, is like being part of people's memories. So I don't know. That's what we're working on. I've given myself the business challenge that I can't just take the easy route and spend $200 and do this. I have to actually raise $200 through like business practices, whether it's a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something like that. I got to try to put $200 together in enough time that I have the 20-day lead or more time for promotion to get all this in and approved and actually have it happen.
You want to do like pre-sales or something?
I could do pre-sales. I have I have artists who are willing to produce investor packages where like you get promotional material related to the event that other patrons won't, which is like, like a poster and other kind of swag related to it that is strictly for people who were investors in it. And if I get 10 people who put in $20 each, it's done. But I don't know if I'll get that. I don't know how motivated people will be.
Well, you got to start, man.
I know.
Get off your ass.
It's tough, man. Being lazy is the easiest thing to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially when you're drinking on a Sunday morning.
My cup is empty, goddammit.
Yeah, so is mine.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's all I had.
All right.
And I got to pee again.
I'll throw one coming attraction. Besides that.
Oh, yeah, let's.
One more coming attraction. I know you couldn't go, but I will be attending Dark Side of the Con 3, which is in, 2 weeks?
I feel like I'm a jackass because I didn't jump on it.
You can always go to Convergence and tell me how that is, because I'm not doing Convergence.
Isn't it, like, far away?
It's in Boston.
Yeah,
I totally hear that, because I'm old as well. And fuck that. But I am doing Dark Side of the Con 3, so I can give a report on that next time.
Cool.
And it should be really nice. They added a couple musical acts. I don't know if I'll see everybody, but I'm going to see most of the acts is what I'm planning on.
No, it's going to be cool. I mean, I know that they have, like, beyond just their musical acts, it's a full convention where they have, like, speakers and...
Lots of vendors, lots of panels.
Yeah, panels, right. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so, give my best regards to Abby Death. Those guys are super cute.
They don't really know me, but maybe. We'll see if I run into them. I'll say, Paul from Albany.
Maybe I'll send a gift along with you.
Oh, well, I could, they're cool. Try.
They're such good dudes. So that's cool. I think that's going to be a really good follow-up. And if you're hearing this before Dark Side of the Con, it's definitely, musically, it's going to be a great time. And if you don't know a lot of people who are going, then you'll probably have a great time. For me, the big thing was the hotel, the primary hotel, is sold out. So you would have to stay at like a secondary location. You wouldn't really be... For me, the biggest thing is like that feeling of being in my community. And if I'm not at the primary hotel, it's just not worth going to for me. But...
It's fair. You don't have to go into it.
Well, I think that like even if you're not at the primary hotel, there's great music. And there's like a great convention going to be happening. I just really like... For me, it's more the community than the event. So... it makes it hard for me. I am kicking myself for not jumping on it earlier, but I've just been busy since like early February. Like every every weekend is filled with stuff to do. So, I don't know. I didn't move on it as fast as I could.
I hear you.
Eh.
That's all right.
But it's going to be dope. I'm really looking forward to your review.
I'm really looking forward to going there. So, yeah, well, I'll tell you all about it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's all we got.
All right, guys. It's time for your bathroom break.
Yes.
All right.
All right, everybody. Peace.
Peace out.